Okay, so if we look at setup now, that's kind of moved back a little bit. That's kind of where your ball position was, which technically, I suppose, is the right ball position, okay? We're just moving it back probably, I say, about a ball's width.
Yeah.
So we're going back here somewhere, okay? But as we said, because the path of that golf club is going to be kind of that way, it's going to come in from an inside curve to the golf ball and then curve round the corner. If you're unable to move that way to target with your lower half, which we said your left knee's not going to want to take that, you're not going to move this way and therefore change your path in the golf ball. What will happen is you'll end up hanging back here somewhere, so your path now is going to be here and then going left when you hit it. So you're kind of hitting it a little bit just off the back foot a bit late, yeah? Now in the winter when the ball's probably teed up on a nice bit of grass because they're lifting clean, you can strike it good. Yeah, it doesn't have to be a tight lie in the winter. You can still make good contacts off your back foot just because you're a decent player. But the path is instinctively going left, isn't it, yeah? And then what you're going to try and do is you'll try and hold the club face open to try to kind of block it to target, yeah? So by moving that golf ball back a little bit, we'll still get the same kind of rotational hip movement there. Okay, if that line's moved, hang on, I'll move back. Sorry, hang on. We're still going to get that same kind of movement off there. You're never going to go back through that green line there with your left hip, but at least now your chest is covering that golf ball, yeah? Because the ball's moved back to where your chest is going to be. Whereas we would, in a ideal swing or a perfect swing, what you want to call it, okay, the best robotic swing, McIlroy swing, okay, his chest is going to be a bit more over this way, okay, because his hips are going to be a bit more over there. So the ball would be where it wants to be.
Yeah, because like you've got the strength in his legs to take the balance.
Exactly. And these guys are like 25, 30 and in the gym 7 days a week, and they're strong and physical guys. So we're effectively, in terms of your swing, almost take away what your legs look like. Just look at where the body is in relation to the golf ball. That's a good position, okay? It's going to be back slightly just because you don't want to put so much pressure on that front knee. That's fine. We're making a swing that's going to suit around physically what you can do. So you could play 4 or 5 games in a row and not be like, and putting stress on your knee, or having the ball in the correct position at setup further forward and then having to try and make some adjustments from up here in the third of a second going, right, I'm going to hook it. And try and hang on to it. The thing is, you'll play so many holes around a golf where it'll work. You'll play like 10, 12, 13 holes. You'll be like, it'd be all right. It'll be left side the green or maybe okay. But then you'll have like 4 or 5 holes where it's like, flipping out, see you later.
Nice game over, like score-wise.
Doubles, triples get chucked in. And this time of year now it's hard to score because the conditions are a bit soft. The greens aren't maybe as good as they want to be. So you're struggling. And as the driver's going well, which is annoying because then you're getting down the fairway, you're achieving not the hardest part of the game, but you in theory, hitting a driver 240, 250 dead straight should be harder than a wedge 100 yards, isn't it?
Yeah.
In your head, well, this should be like, just chuck it on the green.
I've done the hard bit, really, in my eyes, because my...
Well, exactly. In anyone's, to be fair. And you always know that your driver's always been a kind of your, say, Achilles heel or weakness and stuff, where if you've driven it well, you've always scored well, because you've always got your irons pretty decent, knocked on the green and decent short game and putting. But if now the driver's going well and you're like, oh gosh, this should be like, and that's kind of almost a mental kind of screw up.
I know it's nothing major.
Exactly.
Like, you can work it out.
Well, the thing is, you can't see yourself, you can't feel yourself. And sometimes when you try, what will always happen is you know a symptom, as in you're hooking it left. So you know the ball's going left. So you understand the concept. I'm pretty sure that club face will be left and path is a bit to the left there, okay? Because it's just starting left and keep going left, okay? But then instinctively, without thinking about it, as we said, you'll just try and change the club face. And then you say the ball might start going a little bit straight.
Over the top.
Oh, God, no. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And that's why I say the movement is good. It's just not going to be able to move as much to that left. Yeah, exactly. And there's no point really. And we can say, okay, right, you could go and do a load of work on your leg strength and try and build it that and get it stronger. Exactly. What's the point? Exactly. So if the knee's there, going to be struggle.
I even open that up a bit, like, you know. So
to be fair, I recommend that for a lot of people. I mean, Hogan always used to have sort of like 5 degrees, 10, 15 degrees with his left foot. Well, that just opens up. And to be honest, that's good for a lot of people, whether you're 10, 50, 100, whatever, to get your lower half to move better. It definitely helps. It helps that rotation at the left hip, yeah? If this foot's turned in somewhere, you can't go anywhere, okay? So move it back. But like I say, give it 2 games, whatever it may be, and try it in the middle from one spot and just see how the results go, okay? Text back and say, you're going to just build into your routine now a setup, so you start kind of there and almost do the same stride, and then stride, exactly, and then just open that left foot out. All I would say as well, just one thing to add to the note there, okay? Just make sure when you're setting up your hands are slightly more toward that left thigh, okay?
Yes.
You have a tendency to want to put it back here, and that's just, again, you're going to be a sort of recipe. Yeah, exactly, yeah. So your lead arm and the club are a little bit more kind of, there. So that left shoulder, left arm, hand and the club are a bit more in the lead arm. This arm's going more across there, okay? You sometimes get it back a little bit. So you're looking more like a lowercase Y. Sometimes you get like a capital Y where both arms and... that's too much probably, but yeah, that's fine. Sometimes you get kind of back here. And I think if you move the ball back in your stance, you kind of did it this way rather than just that way a little bit, okay? And again, I've moved that too much in fairness, and it's only going to be a small amount of movement. So, yeah. So the handle of the shaft is just slightly forward. There you go, good, perfect, yeah, okay.
So these hands are there?
Yeah, basically, yeah. What we sort of call, the term I always use, you bookend the golf ball, okay? The club head's this side of the golf ball, your hand's this side of the golf ball, with your irons, obviously, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, just a slight bit of shaft lean, just to enable that thing for your contact. Okay, mate?
Yeah.
Make sense? Cool.